The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. Asteroids against asteroids. Space weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called it against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. He didn't mention a timeline, but he said that it was going to be speeding up faster than.
All right, guys. All right, so as she was saying, aliens would be the final card, the final false flag that they try and pull before bringing in the New World Order. It would all, you know, like Wernher von Braun said, these are all lies. Um, Now, do I believe in aliens? Yeah, I believe in aliens. I think it's more than likely that they do exist. As big as the universe is, um, more than likely aliens exist. But that doesn't take away from what their plan is, and that is to fake an alien invasion. So I wanted to talk about this because um, we have already exposures on UFOs in the last couple years. Um, Anyone who has kept up with UFO documentaries, alien documentaries, and things like that knows that in these congressional hearings, they didn't or congressional disclosures, they didn't disclose anything that we hadn't already heard on documentaries, podcasts, etc. Um, but it is in my opinion that it was a distraction against the Biden case because the same day that they did the disclosure, his trial was going on. So it was basically a distraction. Um, and aside from that, it wouldn't be hard for them to fake an alien invasion. I mean, the thing about all the technology we know about, right? Well, the were to bring that technology out, it would, without telling us that is our technology, introducing it, understand how it works, it would seem very alien to us. Much like if you were to go into it, take some of our technology to the past, they have into the past, even 30 years ago, I think it's very alien. I mean, a good example of that would be the scene in Back to the Future when he goes back from 1985 to the 50s in the DeLorean, and he goes into the barn, and the farmer and his family come out, and they see him, and it looks like something out of the kids' comic book and stuff, and they're convinced this is a friggin' UFO and an alien and shape shifting and all that. Um, you know, so you think about it, if they have technology that is 50 years ahead of what we have, of what we know about, it would seem alien to us. Um, Not to mention, you see on the internet all the time these strange animals that wash up onto shore um, that are actually near these animal experimentation labs, and you get these weird, strange crossbreed of animals and stuff. It wouldn't be hard to convince us that some of these things are aliens and stuff like that. Um, Also, they could create, like robot things like that and stuff that might seem very lifelike and stuff like that. I would probably mistake them for aliens if they designed them very stereotypical type form. Um, but yeah, so I'm always very weary about the alien disclosures and stuff. I usually am wondering what else is going on in the country that they're trying to distract us away from. Um, you know, not to say that I don't find aliens very fascinating and whatnot. And I'm sure a lot of the information that they disclosed to us was uh, possibly true, or at least true to the witness, as in they are reporting what they saw. Now, they might not know exactly what they saw, but their interpretation of what they saw. So, yeah. Um, the clip that I showed you guys, that is Carol Rosin. She was the prodigy of Werner von Braun. Um, she worked very closely with him, and that was what she said he had warned her about. Um, Werner von Braun was one of the scientists that we got during Project Paperclip. So he was an ex-Nazi scientist. He helped create a certain uh, uh, missile for Hitler. Let me go ahead and look that up real quick because I forget the name off the top of my head. But we'll pull up Werner von Braun's Wikipedia. I don't usually like to use Wikipedia, but you know, some you're just dealing with what you can. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up for you guys so you guys can see. So we're gonna give me 1 second. Bear with me. All right. So we're going to present, stop screen, share screen, share screen. I'll get better at having these pages ready and whatnot. Get better at actually planning my podcast. I kind of just wing it, whatever's on my mind for the day. A friend had brought up the UFO disclosures to me, and so this is what's on my brain right now. So now we're gonna go here. I'm just gonna do a split screen real quick. We're on Braun, and I'm gonna go here so you guys can see. Add to stage. All right, so there we go. There is Werner von Braun. Uh, Very smart man. Also, from what I know, a war criminal um, as well. He was very brutal when he was on the side of the Nazis. Um, but okay, so yeah, he helped design and co-develop the V2 rocket during World War II. The V2 rocket became the first artificial object to travel into space on June 20th, 1944. Following the war, he was secretly moved to the United States along with 1,600 other German scientists, engineers, and technicians as part of Operation Paperclip. So you guys see, I'm not making that up. uh, so he worked for the United States Army on an intermediate range ballistic missile program, and he developed the rockets that launched the United States' first space satellite, Explorer 1, in 1958. He worked with Walt Disney on a series of films which popularized the idea of human space travel in the U.S. and beyond from 1955 to 19. In 1960, his group was assimilated into NASA, where he served as director of the newly formed Marshall Space Flight Center, as the chief architect of the Saturn V super heavy lift launch vehicle that propelled the Apollo spacecraft to the moon. So he helped us get to the moon. In 1967, von Braun was inducted into the National Academy of Engineering, and in 1975, he received the National Medal of Science. Uh, so, I want to know if they have anything about his warning on here. That would be interesting if it goes into more detail. But work under the Nazi regime. It's not quite what we can dive into that some other time. Experiments with rocket air, slave labor. Yes, he did use slave labor. Was on the side of the Nazis. Surrender to the Americans. Might not be much more on here about what we're particularly looking for here. So keep going. Personal life, death, okay, yeah. So nothing more here. Um, okay. So now what we're gonna do is I want to play that clip for you guys one more time. I'll play that clip for you guys one more time here. So I'm gonna go here, present. Okay. So I'm gonna play that clip for you guys again. Pay attention to the steps. So add this right here. All right. There we go.
The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now, at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids. Against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card and remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. He didn't mention a timeline, but he said that it was going to be speeding up faster than anybody could possibly imagine. That the effort to put weapons in space, not only based on a lie, but would accelerate past the point of people even understanding it until it was already up there and too late.
All right. Stop my screen share there. Okay, so they identified 5 threats that would be a lie. So the first threat, Russians. Okay. Now we're kind of in a loop, if you notice. We're kind of in a loop because she was saying at that time that was the current threat. Since 2016, the Democrats have been trying to tell us that the Russians are our biggest threat, right? So there's one. The next one, she said, would be what was it? Third world crazies or terrorists. Okay, we had 9/11. There's terrorist attacks going on right now. Okay, third world crazies. So nations of concern. You probably point out quite a few and stuff. So there's that. Asteroids. How many times have they told us an asteroid is coming to hit us? Okay, and then now the aliens. And like she said that Werner von Braun had warned, it would be happening very, very fast. If you've noticed, since 2020, things are just escalating very, very rapidly. There's been no chill since 2020, no chill. So yeah, that's it does concern me a bit. Not to the point that I'm panicking or anything like that, because honestly, people ask me all the time because how are you not panicking when you know all this stuff and you believe all this stuff, right? See, I don't panic because if it is happening, there's not anything I can really do about it, right? If it, to me, at least from where I'm at, right? Me personally, right? If you're someone who can do something about it, do by all means, please. But me myself, I'm just a regular dude. I can't do anything about it. I can talk about it, but I'm just talking to other normal people. So what the hell are we gonna do about it, right? So I don't panic about it because I'm like, you know what? If it does happen, like, what can I do to stop it? All I can do is try to survive it, right? So I don't go into panic mode. When I was younger and I was first finding out about this stuff, yeah, it definitely sent me into kind of a panic mode and whatnot, because I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Right? Well, I've come to the realization and acceptance that if it is happening, there's probably nothing I can do, right? Except for try to survive through it. So that's how I stay calm. Um, it's like the God grant me the what is it? Grant me the strength to accept things, or to change the things I can change, accept the things I cannot, and the wisdom to know the difference. Right. So that keeps me calm and stuff. Also, probably my faith. probably is also what keeps me calm and stuff, because um, I'm just at the firm belief that, whatever is going to happen is in God's plan. Whether I understand why or why not, well, I'm only human. Maybe some of it is not for me to understand. Um, I can try to understand the best I can, and it just is what it is. And all I can do is do my best to survive in the world, right? Um, Also, the chances of this happening in my lifetime up until 2020 didn't seem like it was going to be a thing. So, uh, but nowadays I'm like, it's possible it could happen in our lifetime. It very well could. Um, Another reason I say they could easily fake an alien invasion is because they've got like we've got holograms, right, dude? They could easily like put a fucking hologram in the sky and we would think it's a fucking UFO. They don't have to have an actual UFO. All they need is real enough holograms that it looks real. And we're sitting there thinking, that we're being invaded, right? We have drones. Even like you think about this is a good example to what I was saying, that it wouldn't be hard to fake an alien invasion. When the stealth bomber was first seen by the American public flying in the sky, people were convinced. They swore up and down, "I just saw a UFO," and that's what they thought they were looking at. So that proves my point right there. Um, and then they had to come out and let everyone know, no, it's just our stealth bomber. No aliens here, right? But that's the thing, you know. It's kind of falls on what they tell us, right? So you know, how else could they fake an alien invasion? Let's stick on that for a minute. So, like I was saying, animal experimentation, hell, human experimentation, right? Um, Maybe not necessarily here in the United States, but in other countries where they could probably get away with it. Yeah, yeah, 100% stuff. And then you see this weird humanoid animal looking thing and stuff that looks like it's straight up out of a science fiction movie, right? So, and, you know, some people are like, well, they could do that, but the thing wouldn't survive. So, not likely. Well, they don't need it to necessarily survive. They just need to scare the shit out of you. Because, see, they use fear to control us, right? So, if you're trying to bring in the New World Order and whatnot, you have these things fight off the people that aren't going to comply, and then the people that are going to comply out of fear, well, there you go. You've got your control over them. So that's how that would work, I would think, in the simplest terms and stuff, without going like deep into it and whatnot. But yeah. So um, you know, and yeah, does it keep me up at night? No, no, it doesn't. Um, so yeah, and then let's see. They could also very easily even just show us an AI video, because you look at all these AI videos coming out and stuff, and people have already been making them and stuff with these weird, strange humanoid type animals and stuff like that, and they look like very real and stuff. And if we weren't aware of the AI technology, we would be sitting there like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? So it's all about what we're aware of. You know what I mean? How, like in Training Day, they say, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Um, so this is kind of it kind of goes both ways. I guess you'd say, it's not all, it's also not necessarily what you can prove, but it is also what you know on the receiving end, right? So if you know well, we have the technology to totally fake this, then you're less likely to fall for it, right? Um, that's also why even me being, I'm not super religious, but I do believe in both Christianity and paganism. Um, but the Bible, for example, um, see, I don't get scared by like the Book of Revelation and stuff like that because for multiple reasons. One, um, that's not necessarily a prophecy as far as I understand it. It's not really a prophecy. It's a history of the fall of Rome, as far as I understand it. So it already happened. So I'm not too scared about it happening because I'm like, well, this already happened, and we can learn from it and make sure that the same things don't happen here in America, right? Um, which the only part that worries me is that people are totally disregarding the Bible as being completely fake, even though there's many things in it that are provably true. As far as like like the fall of Rome, um, certain like the Great Flood, for example. And there's scientists all the time that say that yeah, there was a freaking huge ass flood on Earth and stuff. So there's that. But the thing is that people don't take into account is that also the Bible could be weaponized, right? By reenacting what people understand to be prophecy rather than history. Um, but by reenacting that, and then people are scared, oh no, this is happening, just like what it said and stuff. Well, yeah, you pretty much have like a whole um, manual of of how to convince people that the world is ending, right? That's why, to me, it's very important to understand this is history, not prophecy. Uh, as far as I have always understood it, and just knowing that, I believe, puts me one step ahead of anyone who would be trying to weaponize it against the people, right? Um, and in 2020, they were doing very much the same thing, even with just movies, right? So you had all these apocalyptic type movies going on and stuff, where there's like a virus and it gets out and it kills half the world's population or whatever and stuff, right? We know now that wasn't the case with COVID, but they had everybody, most people, very convinced that that was the case, that this was going to wipe out so many people, and you know the world would never be the same, right? And I think that that's what they wanted, right? They wanted the world to never be the same. um, they also was hoping that be it would kill off a lot of the world's population, because you see, actually, I want to try and find that video. I'm going to tell you about it. uh, there is a video clip of the Prime Minister of Malaysia talking about the New World Order and how there are, what, 6 or 7 billion, at least at the time of this video, 6 or 7 billion people on Earth, and they want to keep the Earth's population under like 1 billion. So 6 billion people would have to be killed, essentially, is what he was saying. So let me try and find that real quick. And he's just openly saying this too, like not even beating around the bush. That's the crazy part. Malaysia. Might take me a second to find it. So, new. Let's try New World. Excuse the noise. They do have the air show going on today, so that's jets and whatnot that you're hearing fly around. Let me try and find this video. It's a bit of a harder video to find. I wasn't quite expecting to go into that, otherwise I'd had that one pulled up already. Ugh, almost 15 minutes. I'm not sure if that's it. Okay, well, that one's going to be a bit harder to find. All I can find is a 15-minute video, and I'm not going to make you guys watch the entire speech. So um, I'll save it for. I'll save it for a later video, and I'll, have it time stamped and everything ready to go for you guys, so that way you guys can hear for yourself, or you can look it up for yourself as well. I had originally found it on Facebook. Um, it was a much shorter clip, just right to the point. Um, I guess I could try to find it on Facebook real quick, but I don't think I'm going to have much luck there, but I will give it one shot real quick. So bear with me. Yeah, it's crazy. If you guys have never heard of the World Economic Forum, they believe in this thing called the Great Reset, which they were trying to put in place in 2020. Basically, where you will own nothing and be happy. And these are world leaders, and they pretty much just live stream their meetings on YouTube for the whole world to see. So they're not even hiding anymore. Um, and they want us to own nothing and be happy. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not down for that. Yeah, they want us to they're crazy. See what it sucks because when I explain it, I'm the one who sounds crazy because I'm explaining what these crazy people are saying. You know what I mean? So, okay. So I think I found it. I think I just found it. So, let me go ahead and share this video with you guys. So, give me 1 second. Bear with me again. So, we're going to go here. Share screen. I'm getting faster. So, boom. Hop back over here real quick. Let me just do a dual screen. I can see everything going on here. Okay. So I believe this is the video. Forgive me if it's not. At worst, I waste 2 minutes of your time. And I think this will be the last thing I show you guys. Oh, hold on. I don't have any sound here. Let's turn that up for y'all. There we go. Why don't we make that full screen so you guys can.
Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said that the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPPA, is a new world order strategy foundation Dr. Mahathir said, globalization and borderless trade
it have only one world government. And that world government is to be by who are very rich, very intelligent, very powerful in many ways. They are the ones who will govern the world, who will impose their rules on everyone in this world. And for those who are unwilling to submit to them, there will be punishment. And the peace that we will get from this is the peace of the graveyard, because the intention also is to reduce the number of people in this world. At the time when the New World Order was enunciated, the population of this world was only 3 billion. The intention was to reduce it to 1 billion. Now the population of the world is 7 billion. There will be a need to kill many billions of people, or to starve them to death, or to prevent them from giving birth, in order to reduce the population of this world.
Hey, baby.
Malaysia's former Prime Minister.
Okay. So sorry, something playing. What the hell is playing? Sorry, got like okay, that was weird. It started playing another video in the middle of that. Okay, so what he was saying was that the world's population would be reduced to 1 billion people. That's about what we're at. I think it's about 7 billion people worldwide. That's 6 billion people that they're talking about killing, sterilizing, etc. That's why I find it very concerning that certain things that are becoming a trend, such as being trans, right? Nothing wrong with being trans. Do your thing, right? But should it be a trend? No. Okay. Most trans people would never wish being trans on their worst enemy, right? Because it comes with a lot of discomfort. It's not something necessarily to be ashamed of, but not really something that you're proud of either. It's just something that is, right? So, okay. And up until like 2020, it's always been known it's like 0.1% of the population is trans. So there's a 99.9% chance that you're not. So you start seeing it becoming a trend, and they start using things like, oh, you're cisgendered as a slur, right? You're comfortable. That's what cis means, by the way. It means comfortable in skin, which I'm not even going to go into the strangeness of that description, right? Because who isn't comfortable in skin? It's a very strange way of putting it. But anyway, anyway, yeah, but the hormones that trans people take do cause you to become sterilized, whether it's testosterone or estrogen. Um, they will cause you to become sterile because basically, so in women, the ovaries create the estrogen, And then in men, the testicles create the testosterone, right? So when you are injecting or taking a pill or whatever, when you are putting the hormone into your body becomes dependent on it. And so those, the sexual organs that create that essentially stop producing it on their own. Um, so yeah, and it will cause you to become sterile, essentially, in most cases, right? Everyone's body's a little bit different, but so uh, that's why it's concerning that it's becoming a trend. Also, during the fall of Rome, they became very obsessed with sexuality and gender. You see that happening in America now. We need to be very careful and stuff because you know it shouldn't be your whole identity, your sexuality or your gender identity or whatever. It shouldn't be your whole identity. That's only like a small piece of who you are. You know what I mean? Like, um, it's really the only reason why like the pride flags bother me because I'm just like, I don't care who you bang. Nobody cares. Do your thing, but like who the fuck cares? Why is everyone advertising it? I mean, you don't see straight people walking around with a huge straight pride flag letting everyone know I like women or I like men, like or whatever and stuff. You don't see it and shit. It's like, who cares, right? Do your thing. Love who you love. Be attracted to who you're attracted to. Do your fucking thing, right? 100%. But the fact that we are so obsessed with it is what's concerning. you know, um, we don't want a repeat of the fall of Rome or see. There's two things, um, and it's the right and the left. Okay, so the left is kind of falling into what happened with the fall of Rome, while the right is kind of falling into what we know was the fall of Atlantis. So it's it is very concerning on both sides. Um, and I guess that depends whether you believe in Atlantis or not. I personally do because, like I said, there was a great flood, right? So it's very possible that Atlantis could have existed. They wiped out the technology that they had, and etc. So, um, but you could even say that the left is also falling into the fall of Atlantis as well. Um, but it's a little bit of both. Um, but um, so yeah, as far as the New World Order goes, it's definitely something that people out there are trying to make happen. Um, can we stop it? Who knows? Like Carol Rosin said, it would happen so fast, people wouldn't even understand what's happening as it's happening. And by the time everybody realizes it, it's going to be too late, you know. Um, and a small podcast like mine isn't going to change anything just because I'm talking about it and stuff. I might make 5 or 10 people aware and stuff, and that's fine with me. I'm just here to, you know, share with what I know and whatnot. So, but yeah. So, but look up the World Economic Forum because those are the people that are trying to make this happen. As far as what we know, right? And there's probably even people above them, right? But this, at least public wise, is the top, right? They're the ones trying to implement this. And like I said, they live stream their meetings and post them to YouTube all the time. They're saying it out in the open. You can go hear straight from their mouths what they're saying. I'm not even going to go into everything that they're saying because it makes me look like I'm the crazy one when I'm just repeating what the other crazy, what the actual crazy motherfucker said. Okay, I'm just repeating what they said. Uh, so, but I encourage you guys to look it up. World Economic Forum, WEF. Look up the Great Reset. Those are all things that they were trying to implement, especially in 2020. They were really pushing it hard. And I think that had a lot to do with why so many people were going a little crazy and stuff. Not to mention being locked inside your house for a fucking year, right? Uh, although, not everybody complied. Like I still went out and stuff like that. Was I a little bit more cautious about big crowds? Yeah, a little bit, just because I didn't know, you know, to what extent this virus was, what extent the danger was on the virus, especially in the beginning and stuff. So in the beginning, I stayed inside more, but then as it kind of went on and I kind of started seeing what was going on, I started going out more and more and stuff. Um, and uh, and then a little bit less because people were being so fucking weird. I just didn't want to deal with them. So I was like, okay. And then it put me into a weird headspace because I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it was so frustrating. I couldn't fucking I couldn't even verbalize how frustrated I was and everything because it was just so overwhelming. It was like overload, right? So, and I think that's kind of what everybody was going through and stuff. So, I'm sure you guys remember 2020 was very almost like out of a sci-fi film. It was very strange. Um, so, you know, I just think the more we're aware of these tactics and aware of what their plan is and aware of the effect that their tactics have on people, the less likely we are to fall for it again, right? Or fall for it at all. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast here. I'm going to end it with a Bob Marley quote. You can fool some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all the people or you can fool, sorry, I messed that up. Let me repeat that. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Okay. Great Bob Marley quote. So yeah, keep that quote in mind. Very important. And just, wake more people up. Tell them, if you're not very privy to the information or you're just still kind of learning and stuff like that, just tell people to look up, MK Ultra, um, World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, shit like that. Um, it will wake people up and stuff, and they can see for themselves. So that way, you're not sitting there explaining it, looking like the crazy person and stuff. Just tell them, go look it up. That's why I like to accompany videos in here and the web pages in here the best I can. And as I get better at this, I'm going to be doing it more and more and more so I can show you guys and stuff that I'm not making this stuff up. It's right there for you guys to look up. All you have to do is take the time to look it up. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I'm going to go get something to eat. So, y'all have a good day and stay awake.